to France?
Technically, I don't count it.
I count airports, as we've established. I've been
But I don't.
to Pennsylvania.
That's not fair.
I've been to
I don't
Minnesota.
know anything about it except
Well-
that it's nice and good.
Well, then you've been. And did you see the Eiffel Tower?
No.
Okay.
Again, layover. Didn't leave the whole. You know what I mean.
Not
Airport.
real. Welcome to volume 33 of Ask a Brit. This is, of course, the final Ask a Brit of 2017. What a year it's been, hasn't it? We'll get to that a little later. Yeah, I mean, obviously Ask a Brit launched this year, so in that respect, it's been a brilliant year, depending on your point of view. If you are a critic, stay away. So this, of course, is the format in which I ask you fine people to ask me any question you like, so long as you use the hashtag #AskABrit. And that way I can include your question, hopefully, in the Ask a Brit next week / next month / next year. They're all the same thing at this point. That joke is getting old now. People have been telling me it all week. But the first question today then actually pertains to New Year. I wish I was in New York for the New Year. Try saying that after 12 bottles of whiskey. I haven't ever done that. That's too many. Comes from Pips K and Beth Hodges. Both had the same question. And they ask, name some British New Year's Eve traditions, please. So this is kind of tough. I think one of the big ones that stands out is when you're doing the countdown, the 10, we're all watching television unless we're out on the piss. Which means to get drunk. Let's be clear there. We're watching the television, and the traditional sight for us is to see Big Ben, do its chimes and its gongs and all that. Here, of course, it is the Waterford crystal ball that comes down in Times Square, so that's kind of the equivalent of that. Other than that, I mean, I think for the most part, New Year in the UK and New Year in America is pretty similar, although, as I pointed out before, you're working with numerous time zones here. So the next question is completely New Year non-related, although it does relate to Christmas, and in fact, in many ways it does relate to New Year because I'm still eating these things come New Year. The next question does come from JWB52Z, who asks, have you only eaten the mincemeat type that is simply made of the fruit mixture for mince pies? I asked because I read about a type of mincemeat that was made with venison from centuries ago. I know you're a vegetarian now. Am I? I've never let that cat out of the bag. I have many a time, as vegetarians are wont to do. But it just occurred to me that you might have years ago when you mentioned mince pies in the video. I don't think I did. I don't think I've ever been through the meat-based version of mince pies in that sense, in the venison sense. I think I've always, as far as I know, although it's hard to tell because I think back in the day, mince pies were sold kind of without that warning because there wasn't such an outcry from us barbarians, that are vegetarian, and so we may have been eating it without knowing it, but I think for the most part I've been quite diligent about that in the past few Christmases. So it would be interesting to know if that was indeed the case. Susie Q, do you have a P.O. box address for getting snail mail? We don't have a P.O. box, actually. It's something that we have thought about quite a bit, but have never really sort of implemented. I think we would need to do a kind of gauge as to how much it would even be used. I mean, are people going to be sending me their postcards, their chocolates, their underwear? Don't send underwear. Again, Jason, you've been told. Can you remember that guy? It was frightening. They were used. The P.O. box would be good. I'd love it. I mean, I'm not against people sending us stuff. But again, yeah, we definitely need to know if any of you would. And then we'd look into, cost differentials and all that because we're very business savvy. She is, not me. You're the numbers person. Money lady.
If you guys express enough interest, we'll get one.
She'll steal your money. No, not. She'll steal mine. It's ours. It's shared bank account. Okay, next question comes from Mark Oldgeezer, and this isn't a question for me. This is a question for Tara.
Oh.
Question for Tara. What's the best thing about being married to a Brit? Go on. Tell him. Tell me. I don't know the answer to that.
The incessant dad jokes.
Dad joke? I don't tell dad jokes.
Let's see.
What is that? I have a good sense of humour. Humour with a U.
Falling in and out of a northern accent all the time.
No. Well, that applies only to me. That doesn't apply to people from the south. All right, what's the worst thing? Mark also asks, what's the worst thing about being married to a Brit?
The incessant dad jokes.
They're not dad jokes. They're well and they're meticulously planned gags that occasionally fall on that side of punnage.
Moving in and out of a northern accent.
Okay, so the worst thing is also the best thing, and vice versa. And what's the strangest thing about being married to a Brit?
I don't know about a Brit necessarily, but being married to you,
Yeah.
how ridiculously quickly your socks get dirty.
No, they don't. I've got slippers now. Well, they probably did before, but then again, we've got a floor that seems to capture cat dirt, and I stand in it. Not the poo. That's later. I sometimes stand in their cat box and crush it down like grapes. No, I don't. That's a lie. I'm just imagining it for the purposes of humour. Not exactly dad humour, is it? It's toilet humour, which can sometimes, cross that line into dad humour. But now that I've got,
I love you a lot.
well, good. I love you a lot too, and especially because you got me these slippers for Christmas. That solves both our problems.
I bet our groceries are on the way.
We've ordered groceries. They're on their way. Okay, that's apparently the answer, Mark. Those things are news to me. Carla the Canuck. Is it Canuck or Chanook or Canuck? Canadian. Canuck, thank you. Carla the Canuck. What do Brits do to celebrate Boxing Day, which we just had on the 26th of December? It's a holiday in Canada here too, but we just lounge around on an extra day off and eat Christmas leftovers or maybe check out some Boxing Day sales. It's not too much different in the UK, honestly. I think the one thing I would add to that Canada perhaps doesn't do is we tend to watch football matches as well, because Boxing Day has a packed football fixture, and if you're that way inclined, you will be there on the sofa, as you point out, probably in your underpants, as I've often pointed out, watching the great sport itself. That's about the only difference I can think of, if I'm completely honest. And the next question comes from BJS301. You sound like a stormtrooper with that name. That's my interpretation of that. But I don't think a stormtrooper would be asking me this question. What does Marmite taste like? I've heard some Russians describe it as completely inedible. What do you think of that, wife? Completely inedible, Marmite?
It's pretty gross.
Come on.
I mean, actually, I say that. I've warmed to it more in the last year than I ever have before, but I still don't like it very much.
Ooh, that sounded almost like sitting on the fence, which is, you can't do that with Marmite. There's not a single human alive that's even tried that. But indeed, if you don't like it, and I do, we are a microcosm of the sort of popularity of Marmite. 50% do, 50% don't. When I talk about Marmite, I start going northern, like some kind of comedy character from a sitcom from the 70s.
Told you guys.
Stop it. It's fine to do that, isn't it? It's just a bit of humour. Marmite's good. I like Marmite on my Twiglets. But you really asked, what does it taste like? I don't know. There's not really anything I can compare it to. It's just like savoury and nice.
Old food.
Old food? Well, if you leave it out, it'll taste like anything. It'll go off, but it's not old food.
No, it already tastes like that.
Marmite tastes like Marmite, and it's delicious. That's the end of the argument. Don't try to... All right, and the final question today. We come full circle. This question comes from Jamie on Twitter. And will you stop laughing at me? It's just Marmite and dad jokes. And this glass is going to go... not in your... I won't throw it at you.
Good.
That would be domestic violence. I use it to drink out of. Final question today comes from Jamie on Twitter. And Jamie asks... I wonder if you could talk about what your favourite parts of 2017 were and what you hope to accomplish in 2018. It's very difficult to talk about my favourite parts of 2017 because it's been a blisteringly hard year in many ways. Unfortunately, this year I lost my father-in-law. Tara lost her dad, all joking aside. It's been tough. We were going back and forth to Indiana to care for him in that time. And that's sort of taken up a lot of our thoughts. It's taken up a lot of our memories of this year, sad to say. But, on the other side of the coin, I think Ask a Brit has been a source of great joy for me. I think that the YouTube channel has come on leaps and bounds. We started the year with 3,000 of you, and now we have 14,000 of you. So that's quite an explosion. And that's, to look at it, has been... marvellous. And I would say probably from that point of view, that's been my favourite thing that's come out of this year. I never expected that when we started. I thought I'd planned, just based on the way things were growing, to finish the year with 7,000 of you fine people following me. So I'm glad that more of you have jumped on board to this crazy train, if indeed it is crazy, and indeed if it is a train. It's not a train, it's a show. That'd be weird.
I like trains.
I like trains, but this is not a train. Let's be clear.
Marmite.
But looking forward to 2018, I think I'm excited for similar reasons. I think every time a new year comes about, I am really excited for the chance of renewal. So every year I give up something. I've covered this in a previous video. You know, I gave up pop, I gave up chocolate, I gave up meat, as we know. And last year, or rather this year, 2017, I gave up the use of personal social media use. And so I'm going to be giving up something here in 2018. And that thing is this. I'm going to be giving up digital devices like a phone or a computer after 10 o'clock at night. You know how it goes. Late at night, you're on your computer, you're working away, and then you think, oh, I'll just click one more link, one more YouTube link, and then before you know it, you are on a video of 4 cats stuck in a tree, and it's the cutest thing ever. So you want to see more of these, and then you find yourself on some sort of parkour video of people jumping over stuff, and it's really amazing, and you don't want to go to sleep, and your life is just hell the next day. I don't want it to be hell the next day, so I'm going to stop. All that to say, I think I'm going to have a lot of energy in 2018, and that's going to make all the difference in the world. Can you imagine me with energy? That I would take over the world, perhaps. Maybe that's my goal for next year. Don't know. But I am looking forward to it. Years ending in 8 have been kind to me, and I think that might prove true again. 2008 is when I got married to her, that one, the American in the room. And then prior to that, 1998 was when I started college, and it was great. So good times. And 88, Who Framed Roger Rabbit came out, so you can't really argue with that, can you? That's it for this episode of Ask a Brit. Join us next week, month and year. I did it again. Stop me from doing that. When we have a very special Volume 34. It's not really that special, is it? It's just Volume 34. But it is Ask a Brit 34, so join us for that. And of course, if you do have any questions, keep them coming with the hashtag. And don't forget to follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And you can also support the channel by going to patreon.com/lostinthepond, as well as lostinthepond.com for more information. Until next week /month/ I won't do it again. Just have a good year. I'll see you next year, and have a good one. Bye.